But I want to talk about Larry Wilmore. Larry Wilmore was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and he did what he does. He roasted everyone in the audience, everyone from President Obama down to Don Lemon, down to Wolf Blitzer, everyone who was there. No one was safe. The only person who was safe was actually First Lady Obama. There's a lot of controversy, obviously, over Larry Wilmore using the N-word. And I don't know. I can understand why someone would think it's controversial. We've talked about this on my show quite a bit. On my show, I've said probably before a lot of you got here, on my show, I've discussed how the N-word is not offensive to me in the proper context. But there are a lot of people who are African Americans who don't agree with me. There's a lot of black people who are upset with Larry Wilmore for using the N-word at the White House Correspondents' Dinner in reference to President Obama. So there's a lot of fallout. Some people liked it. So personally, I enjoyed his entire set. The entire 22 minutes were hilarious because he was talking to me. He obviously was not talking to the people in the audience. He wasn't talking to the media establishment. He was using the media establishment as a what's the word? As a muse, right? He was using them for the brunt of his jokes. They didn't appreciate it, and you could tell it was a tough room for him. But from a lot of people who watched the show, we were laughing our butts off the entire time. I mean, the joke about President Obama using, like Steph Curry, using long distance bombs or dropping bombs from long distances, you know, that cut really deep. You could see it cut President Obama, but he was a good sport about it. I mean, all the way through to his jokes about Bernie Sanders getting a hernia, all the way through to jokes about Hillary Clinton, and just, it was a really rough night if you were the butt of the joke for Larry Wilmore. But he closed it out by keeping it 100. And sometimes keeping it 100 goes too far. And for some people, he really went too far. And so the question that actually came up about this is whether or not it is not appropriate, because obviously it's not appropriate to use it in such a public setting, but whether or not black people can use the N-word and not have a racial connotation or a racist connotation. This is an ongoing debate, and you'll find like there's a lot of people who are divided on it. First of all, my family is divided on it. My wife absolutely hates the phrase. She doesn't care if it's coming from a Klansman or if it's coming from me talking to one of my boys. She doesn't like it. That's not me. That's not how I grew up. I actually grew up using the word all the time. It doesn't, you know, it's a term of endearment. When Larry Wilmore, and this is how you know it's a term of endearment, when Larry Wilmore actually said it, you could see President Obama crack up laughing, bump his chest, and essentially let everyone know that this is a term of endearment. Now, that does not happen for everybody. Everyone did not interpret it the same way, and that has to be understandable. But the moral of the story was, the biggest takeaway for me for Larry Wilmore was simply the fact that he was transmitting to a different audience than what was in front of him. Larry Wilmore was transmitting to, I think, his Twitter audience. He was transmitting to people like me who never really watched them because I never really liked him on Comedy Central. But I think now that I've seen him do this stand-up, this routine, I think I will check him out a little bit more. I enjoyed it. I love the fact that he made people who expected a certain type of joke, he made them uncomfortable. And he made them uncomfortable with jokes that were seriously about the truth. And so he was pointing out truth. And I think that's a difference between a clown and a jester, a court jester, someone who is bold enough to really speak truth to power through their comedy. And all night long on Saturday night, Larry Wilmore was doing just that.